down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. And you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. You, the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise.
Live and direct. Hi guys. Just got in. Look at these beautiful, beautiful faces on the screens. Live and direct from our front room, giving you the hope shot, because we are hope dealers.
We are
Out
yes,
daily
yes.
dealing hope. Welcome to the Lancashire User Forum, a space for anyone in recovery from addiction and alcohol, family members, and anyone interested in.
Anyone affected by or
Yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
mental health, substance misuse,
And anything that
criminal
comes with
justice.
drugs and alcohol, basically. We
Yeah.
have a lived experience, and we are right in the middle of the boat tonight with a lived experience crew. So pin your ears back, open your hearts, because we're coming at you. We've got an hour and a half to give the hope shot. This is Mr. Peter Yarwood, Passionate Peter.
Thank you very much. And this is today the elusive Emma
Yes.
Daggers.
Yes, hello, welcome. I just want to say a massive shout out to John Lomax in the house. John, welcome. And Lee Bailey Armour, great to have you on, Lee. Good to see you. You know it's right. You know what time it is. You know that here you are going to get the hope shot. And be testimonies is what we are for living life another way. You don't have to live in the dark. You don't have to commit crime. You don't have to use drugs to kill them sharp edges of life. Is that right, Pete?
It is, but I'm just thinking, when we do our speaker boot camps, one of the things we say is there's two, as a motivational speaker or a narrator, two of the things you don't do. One of them is ask, can you hear me at the back? And the other one is tell the audience you're nervous. And I'm really nervous tonight. So I'm going to break that rule tonight. I'm nervous because I'm in amongst some like big big leaders in the sector, people who I look up to and I admire. And
that me
and
then?
You're one of them, babe. Absolutely.
You know,
you're
Paula,
one of them.
you know what time it is. Honey?
But my head fell off because I've downloaded a new operating system on the laptop.
Yeah. And
the speaker's not working.
Right.
So it was like lastminute.com running around to pull gadgets out. And finally we can, I don't know, can we hear you guys? Are you there? I mean, we can see you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hiya. Evening.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Oh, great.
Oh, it's so good to see you all. I do just want to say a massive shout out to the team who have relentlessly pulled off and picked up the reins every week since we stood back from this platform and delivered amazing forums every week on the platform. You know, we have overcome COVID. You know, we have found the space. We've still managed to do what we do, bringing people together from further, you know, internationally, really, from us being local to international.
Well, put it in the comments after you hit the like and share button. Put it in the comments.
Matt Idol from Spain. Yes, Matt in the house. Right. Talking of international, Matt's in the house.
We're going to win a prize now, just off the cuff. The furthest viewer on this planet who's far away. How can you describe that? The further away from Lancashire, because Lancashire's the centre of the universe, right? So the further away from Lancashire you are, you win a prize.
What's
tonight.
The prize?
I've not decided what the prize is yet.
Well, there's somebody watching from Mississippi.
Yes, Mississippi in the house.
Well, there you go.
Tiara Martinez, hi from Mississippi.
Yes.
Hope it's nice weather in Mississippi because it's raining here.
And Lorna's watching. So Lorna, I want you to pin your ears back, girl, because we have got some good stuff for you tonight around what we've been talking about this week. So
Lorna wants to leave Red Rose Recovery and come and work for you guys now, because we've told her about the lived experience program. It's like, and there's many, many more people who are chomping at the bit. So up to now,
and we've got 41 people. So if you like and share, guys, that can reach 82. Like and share, you do the math, and this can get spread out. Okay, Craig Gillett. Yes, Craig. Hi, Craig. Great to see you.
So just going back to what you said, we're about 28, 29 weeks into COVID now, and we've run this show every week.
Yeah.
But we've devolved it to the team, haven't we? We've said to the team, we'll just do 1 week out of the month and you do the rest. And
quite right too.
Blown away with how they've stepped up and the leadership qualities that they are displaying. And tonight, guys, is for you. So it's not just for you, Lorna, but we love you. The rest of the team, pin your ears back, because we're going to be picking you off and saying this program, what we're talking about later on tonight, is specifically aimed at you. And for months and months now, I've been talking to you, some on an individual basis, some on a collective, about smashing the glass ceiling. It's great that we can have entry-level jobs into the sector, but some of our cats are definitely senior players, if not now, in the future.
Yeah.
Well, you've got some awesome things coming at you tonight over these airwaves. So
without further ado, let's do some introductions until people start coming in, because we've got 41 now. So hit the like, hit the share button, guys. Get it out there.
Emily Kindle.
Emily, hi, darling.
Hello. Hey, we've got someone from Australia watching now. They're all coming out now. They all want a prize, Peter. What have you started? What have you started?
Australia's pretty far away. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Christopher Blenkham from Australia. Hi from Australia. Hello, Australia. I bet the weather's
Good day, mate. Good day, mate.
Hit the survey button at the top of the page. There's a link to this week's survey, and we want to know where you're from as the first question. So, Emily, you have really made an impression on me when you come on as a guest to share your story. One of the things you said was how you'd felt really important by receiving an invitation, and that's why we do it, because we want to value people. But straight away, the team was saying, you're not just a participant, you're a leader, and we're going to give you an opportunity to change the narrative. Man.
Yes, she is.
And now it's like, you're part of the East team, and what do you do? What's your role on here, Emily?
I'm absolutely loving it. Well, I'm just going to be doing comments and shout outs for people, but I'm absolutely loving it. I start my leadership course soon, and I've been got my little badge for the boot camp, and I've been helping and do some of the meetings, so like co-hosting some of the meetings. So honestly, I feel important. I finally feel important, and it's a bit crazy because to go from an addict who is a mess to feeling important and that people actually care and want to listen, and it's crazy. Absolutely loving it. I love this. Honestly, I love this forum. Everyone's just looks after everybody, and it doesn't matter whereabouts you are in your recovery. Everybody's important, and you just like
you're important. You're important, Emily. So while we're just on, get some shout outs going because they're gonna come in. They're coming in thick and fast. Well,
we've got Lindsay Jackson, hello, Lorna Simpson, Donna Feeney.
Yes.
We've got Christopher from Australia, Sam Leffat. Third day no drink today. Well done, Sam.
Well done, mate. Well done. You are my hero.
Keep going.
Yes, lads. Yes, lads.
We've got Daniel Littlechild. I think he's lying because he lives in Timbuktu. Dan. No, not having it. Stephen Brown, I'm on the moon. People
Brownie in the house.
Come on, Stephen. Hello.
I'm on the moon. You don't.
Stephen, you're on the leadership.
I knew someone was going to tune in from another planet, man.
You've got Wade Rushton. Oh, good. He's good. Hello, Wade. He's a good bloke. He is. Rachel Christie, Donna Feeney, Matthew Idle, Biring. There's so many people. There's absolutely people. Donna Feeney, big up ass Sam, lol. And then Jonathan Chapman. He looks forward to the live stream every Saturday. Thank you, Jonathan.
Awesome. Ben SOS in the house as well. Yes, Ben. Great to have you here. Right, pin your ears back, guys, because we're going to do some intros with the lived experience crew. Wait for what they have got to tell you.
So let's go by order of what it looks like on our screen. Darren, I've watched Darren from afar. This guy's a member of the board of Lankelly Chase, or is it Lankelly Chase? And their CEO, Adrian, what's his name now?
Julian Corner.
Adrian Corner, that's it.
Julian.
Yeah, Adrian Corner. So he's rubbing shoulders with the elite, and I just view from afar and think, nice one, mate. More power to you.
Welcome, Darren, to the LUF Lounge.
Thank you. I just want to say, you guys are the elite. Everybody who's in this space tonight, we are the elites, not these people who live down London and think they're the elite. We are the elite. We are the real people. We are the people who can make changes. And thanks for inviting me along here tonight.
Man after my own heart. I tell you this on a daily basis, Peter.
You know, as soon as you said it, it was like, ouch. She does. She
say it on a daily basis.
I think it's been drummed into me. And I remember saying to the chair of our board one day, he took me to his house and he had electric gates. And it was like, how come you're taking me to your house? And he looked at me and he went, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a former divisional commander of the police and I'm, an ex-offender. And he went, and I went, well, what if someone sees me coming to your house? He went, Peter, that's your shit, that. Don't put it on me. And I realised how deeply I'd been conditioned to believe that. For years I was told I'm shit, I'll amount to nothing. And it's gone in, man. And sometimes I don't realise, but you do.
I remind you on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, she reminds me. So,
thanks, Darren. And who's this beautiful woman that I've not seen forever? It's our Paula.
Hiya. Hello, everybody. Hello. I mean, I feel like a regular on the LUF Lounge, so I'm not going to go through. I mean, most people will know me, but for those that don't, I've known Pete and Emma for a long time now, and we're all, in recovery. we're all looking for hope, making new lives for each other, supporting each other on the journey. And like for me, I work at you know, in the lived experience movement, but particularly with prisoners. So that's me.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Paul. It's always good.
Yeah, and you both. Right. Delighted to be here. Like really honoured. Thank you very much.
Big virtual hug.
Yeah. Oh.
And we've got a visitor in the background.
Yeah, this is my daughter. Do you want to say hello to her quick? She might as well just quickly pop in and say hi.
Hi.
Is that the singer?
That's the awesome
This is one of the singers. I've got two in the family.
Yeah, it wasn't the one that was on last time, though, is it?
But this is the other singer.
I love that song she sang.
Yeah.
And I was singing
bless
days
her.
after. That's the number one, that.
Yeah.
That is number one.
Yeah, so that's Fifi, the other singer.
The force is strong in your genetics.
Wow, creativity is one of the greatest strengths of people who live in adversity. So let's never forget that. You know, the deepest creativity comes from the deepest adversity.
It does, beautiful. It does. That's our wisdom tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Baljeet's got logged off.
Oh, that's shit.
Yeah. So
log her back in then.
I'm trying to. Well, let's see if she's in the participants. Well, she'll flag back on when she gets.
She'll come back
keep
in.
Trying, she's saying, yeah. So while Baljeet is trying, hi Pete. I've seen you in email, but never in face to face. So hi.
Hi. How are you both doing? You okay?
Good. Yeah. Good,
Yeah.
Pete.
So yeah, I'm Pete Atherton from Community-Led Initiatives, and for me it's an honour to be here as well. I've been watching Pete Yarwood from afar for like, it must be about 10 years now, and hearing about everything that's going on within Red Rose Recovery and within LUF, I've been trying to kind of steal all the ideas and everything and kind of implement it up and down the country, and it's just been great to just have people blazing a trail in front of me that I can see what's successful and share that more broadly as well. So community-led initiatives I set up after 20 years of being in and out of prison and in the care system and in addiction, and you know, I ended up with a job in probation where that glass ceiling that you mentioned before, Pete, my head was banging so hard against it, I lost all my hair. So to be successful, I had to step out of that environment and just set up my own thing, you know. And talking about hope, it's like the work that we do is kind of helping people resettle after prison and recover, whether it be from kind of drug or alcohol misuse or from mental health problems. And we provide that support across Milton Keynes, across Bedfordshire and across Manchester, but always, always, always inspired by just centres of excellence. And that's what I see as Red Rose Recovery and what I see within LUF. And it's just honestly, it's a privilege to kind of be included in the group here, and a group with just so many shared passions as well. So thank you for the invite.
Oh, and Pete, I'm stealing it. I'm stealing that. Centre of excellence. I always knew it. I've been saying this for years, Pete.
It really is. And it's not just me that sees that. I have lots of conversations with other people that see it the same way. So embrace it.
Yeah,
definitely. Can I endorse that? Centre of Excellence, Red Rose Recovery, and the Lancashire User Forum.
Oh,
do you know,
that's I'm full up. That's made my day. That because we do we work relentlessly. You know, I've just been out with my team over in the north in St Anne's today. They go above and beyond, you know, with our service users who haven't got access to this platform, you know, so that's why we've still been managing to run things, obviously socially distanced and according to the government guidelines, but above and beyond.
Peter, we'll come back to you because I'm intrigued to know how you overcome the fear of stepping out and how you run services out of Manchester that are like at different parts of the country, what the challenges, what you know, so we'll come back to you.
No problem.
Okay, Neil.
Is that our Neil?
That's our Neil.
Hi, love.
Hiya, Pete. Hiya, Emma.
From Blackpool in the house. Yeah. How you doing, Neil? Good lad. And I am hoping you have your guitar.
Of course. I don't go nowhere without it.
So me and Neil go way back as well, don't we, Neil?
Yeah, we do. We go way back. It was we was on the therapeutic community together. 2006.
We learned to address our thinking distortions and our bad behaviour, didn't we?
I thought you were going to say you learnt to play the guitar together.
No, we didn't, but we stood shoulder to shoulder on that prison wing, which
We did.
was our community.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the lads on there, some of them had more work to do than others. So, you know, they're not mamby-pamby environments, are they?
No, it was tough. It was a rehab setting, wasn't it? It was we got challenged on a daily basis. But I know, even though I went back out there after, I still needed it at the time, and it, you know, it still did. I still remember. So it was about the events leading up to you using more. You know, it's So I enjoyed it on there.
Tonight you're coming out of Blackpool. You're having another go. You're still like determined.
Yeah.
You're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about my family, and I'm gonna do a song about my dad, but I'll talk about that later on, because it's important to me at the moment.
All right.
Nice one, Neil.
So
nice one.
until Baljeet comes back, have we introduced everyone?
Yeah, I just want to jump over to Emily before she gets bombarded in the comments.
Yeah, there's a few people. What you need to do to win a prize is you just need to like and share. So just like the comments and share the page to your friends, family, groups, and then you can win a voucher. Also, we've got quite a good comment here. Lawrence DePros. Hope is what we never had in our lives until the spark came, and then came a flame. That's really poignant. That's quite important. That is true. You know, hope is what we didn't have. Most of us didn't have hope in our lives. We've got also Christopher Blenkard. The government wouldn't feed the children of the nation during half term, and the community has stepped in. I felt proud to be British at the moment. Community rules. Yes, that is so true, because we step in and we help these people, and this is what we're all about. So yes,
leaders emerge. Leaders emerge.
What an awesome opportunity it is to show people who've got resources that we can transcend that them and us bickering mentality. We can step above that, and together, you know, be an awesome
force
for good. See how we finish each other's sentences.
Go on, Em.
Lots of comments, and also we've got Paul Lincoln, evening all. Ben SOS Riley. Yes, Ben, the boy with the bucket hat.
Yes, Ben.
His song was fantastic the other week. Absolutely loved it. Played it to my daughter, played it to my mum. Oh, awesome. Absolutely awesome. There's so many people. Joe Duffield, he's just telling people to like and share. Thank you, Joe, for that. Donna Feeney, hi, lovely. Donna actually is 2 weeks into a detox, Donna Feeney.
Yes,
so
Donna.
well done.
Yes, Donna.
On next Friday, she's in a detox. So keep going, Donna. Lots of love to you.
If you go on our website, Donna, there's a whole host of activities that you can join in with.
And there's rooms out there full of other women who can take you through a piece of work as well. You don't have to be on your own, Donna.
So that seems to be it for now. That seems to be where we're up to.
Okay, nice one, Em. Just keep jumping in with the comments, love. Hi, Barry Floyd. Yes, Jill Stokes in the house. Brilliant. Awesome.
Fantastic. Right, let's have a little bit of rock down in the lockdown, Neil.
Come on, Neil, grace us with your gifts, darling.
Show us how you learnt to play the guitar.
Hello, everyone.
This is a song to your family, right? Is this?
Yeah, it's the reason I'm doing it. I've been blessed with the chance to make amends with my family at the moment these last few weeks, and my dad's actually forgiven me. He's told me he's forgiven me, and so I'm going to do this song. Like my dad's a musician. He was in a tribute band where they played all Beatles tribute songs, and like I remember him. He gave me all his original Beatles albums when I was a kid and got me into music. So this is one of his favourite songs. So you know, there's a lot of guilt, shame, and remorse around my parents. you know, but it's actually being lifted now because, you know, and I'm doing it for them, not just for me. You know, it's so I'm gonna do this song by the Beatles called "When I'm 64." Right, let me just push this back a bit. When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine? Birthday greetings, bottle of wine. If I've been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Or will you still feed me when I'm 64? You'll be older too. And if you say the word, I could stay with you. I could be handy, mending a fuse when your lights are gone. You can get us back to my fireside. Sunday morning, go for a ride. Doing the garden, digging the weeds. Who could ask for more? I know you still need me, I know you still need me when I'm 64. Every summer we can rent a cottage in the Isle of Wight. If it's not too dear, we shall scream and sing. Grandchildren, you'll be nearer just and send me a postcard, drop me a line, stating the points of view. Indicate precisely what you mean to say. You're sincerely fading away. Send me a postcard, drop me a line. Who can ask for more? But will you still need me? Will you still need me when I'm 64? Will you still need me? Will you still need me when I'm 64?
Yes, Neil. Neil.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It really means a lot to me, that song. You know, it's family first for me. You know, in recovery, you know, I've got to put myself first because I'm useless in relationships with my family, friends, anyone, daughters. You know, I've got to put my recovery first, and playing music's a big part of my recovery.
Yeah.
Amongst other things.
Well, Donna Feeney says, Neil, so made up for you, Neil, all coming back together. Absolutely proud of you. So that's from Donna. Stephen Brown, when I'm 64, Stephen Brown, it's obviously a song that he likes. Lorna Simpson, brilliant, Neil. Really good. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks, everyone.
You know what, Neil? You know what? Anne Brownie, I'll love you when you're 64, love.
One of the we've got a building recovery application in to find people who've got skills and abilities and gifted, you know, musicians to pull an album together to get that album out there. So make sure you throw your hat in the ring for that. And when
Ben SOS,
when the boy in the bucket hat gets round, make sure you're there shouting loud.
Ben's spoken to me about that, so I'd love to be part of that.
You are. Your name's down, Neil.
And the FY4U group.
FY4U.
They're going strong still.
Yeah. Can I just tell you a little bit about FY4U? a group of people, you know, all in recovery, and we're just creating a space for newcomers to the Blackpool area to get involved, you know, to get them out the house, especially people. We've had a few newcomers lately who have just come out to rehab and detox, and getting them involved in activities, and it's helping us all. You know what I mean? I feel
what
privileged.
type of activities?
We do a beach clean once a week, and we've got a running club going. We've got a guitar. We're a bit restricted at the moment with lockdown, but you know, it's just about connecting. Like I've took a couple to the fellowship meetings which I'm involved in. You know, signposted people to other services.
Yeah.
Like there's a few of us. We've all got different things we bring to the table, but
Nice.
you know, I think we're making a bit of a difference. If we can save if we can help keep one person clean every now and again, we're doing our job.
You are making a difference.
We've got Mick Funny Bee, whoever Mick Funny Bee is. He's a comedian and he can make people laugh. How does he join? How does Mick Funny Bee join? He's a comedian and he's dying to win these vouchers. He keeps going on about, how will I know if I win the voucher? What am I going to do? Don't worry.
See his name on the wheel.
I've explained to him, he'll see his name, but oh, and he could also sing. He's got a nice voice. We need to meet this Mick Funny Bee.
Where'd you live, mate?
Tell us where you live, Mac Funny Bee.
Mac Funny Bee, where'd you live?
And if you look at the link to this group, you'll see how you can become a member, how you can join. And if you want to get involved in FY for you, just hit the guys up. They'll welcome you with open arms.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Delphi because they invested in us to go and train them guys up.
Yeah. Each one teach one and pass it on.
Claire, Karen and Bob, not forgetting our Bob. Our Bob from
We've never
Delphi.
met Bob.
We've never met him.
We've never met Bob. You're in visit, but we know you're out there, Bob.
Yeah, we know
you're out there.
And we've got Stephen Brown. How's everyone looking after themselves? Stephen's feeling a bit agitated. So Stephen, keep connecting, keep on these thought forums, keep, you know.
Well, he's saying he started to run the show. He knows full well what to do. You know what to do, Stephen. You know what time it is. Give us a bell. We love you, and you're always welcome in this space. This is his home, anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you do, mate. You stick around and you sign up to the Lex Leadership program because it's designed for people like you, Stephen Brown. So stop idling, stop running the show, and get your name down on this program, which you're going to hear about. Neil, pleasure to have you on. Stick around because this program we're going to be talking about is for you as well.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks everyone.
Before we get into that, I'm just reading this banner here, what says insight through experience.
I love that, Darren.
Our Darren is going to share with us a bit of his experience.
Awesome.
Isn't that right, Darren?
It is. How long have I got? Because God, I can talk forever.
Don't you worry, Darren. Get your main messages out there.
We'll give it
10-15 minutes, Darren.
That's cool. Are we okay to go? Can I start?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, some of us who are old enough to remember, I'm going to take us back to the 1970s a little bit here. Don't worry, I'm not going to do any sort of glam rock stuff or anything like that. I'm going to take you back to a country which was pretty dark at the time. Actually, we were experiencing a few dark times at the moment. However, there was a little boy knocking around Stoke-on-Trent. This little lad was me. Apparently I was a bit different to other kids. Well, that's what I kept getting told at the age of around 5 and 6. In fact, all it was, the differences were, I had a bit of dyslexia, and had a visual impairment. I couldn't see like ordinary kids. So my glasses were like jam jars, and got picked on quite often and quite a lot, beat up in the school playground quite often. Well, however, the powers that be decided that my mother couldn't look after me, so they decided to send me away for a short length of time to what was described back in them days was actually a special needs school for spastics. But actually, the the language and was really important. And actually, it was quite shocking at the time. We're talking around about 1978, 79. And so this is the real vivid memories of my childhood. I remember a knock on the door one day. It was raining, it was peeing down, it was September time. This Green Rover car pulled up on the front of my mother's house. This guy got out. He had a grey suit on, brown brogues, a green anorak, which matched the car. It was an old Rover, actually. The memories of that vivid, you know, still today. And I didn't really know what was going on. My mother said, unfortunately, you know, you've got to go with this guy. You're going away for a short time. We'll see you soon. And I was chucked in the back of this car. And it wasn't a pleasant experience. I remember then I was told to shut up. I was naughty. I was stupid by this guy who was meant to be supporting me at the time. We drove for a few hundred miles, and all I could smell in the car was sort of stale cigarettes and extra strong mints. And well, I just remember the song kept playing on the radio, and it was Video Kills the Radio Star. And still today, it sort of that song sort of does me head in a little bit now and again. And I remember arriving at this place, and it was quite out in the middle of nowhere, and big gates and fences around it. And that was my sort of first experience of going into the sort of care system of this of the country. And I really did struggle, like I said, because I couldn't see past my nose, couldn't write my name, couldn't spell the alphabet. So it was a difficult time. And it really was for quite a few years. This short length of time happened to be for 11 years. And I was released, as I put it, not let out. I was sort of released at the age of 17 with no qualifications. Didn't know what the world was about. Been in this sort of protective, institutionalized bubble thing for many years. And I really found it quite difficult to cope, what I call on the outside. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a job with disabilities. Myself let me down. Didn't have any qualifications, and what jobs I did get didn't last very long. And I found myself really struggling in life. And actually, most days and most of that time in my life, I felt like I just wanted to kill myself, to be honest with you. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to end it. However, I found the wrong thing to support me, and I found that actually what I started to do was getting drinking a lot, and actually then started to get involved in taking drugs, but them things took them feelings away for a lot of time. But after that, the feelings would come back tenfold and worse and worse and worse, and it was a real struggle. So I just still didn't want to be here for lots of times, and I got caught up sort of, you know, this stuff doesn't come for free and no one give me a job. So I got caught up in doing a bit of crime. And then that crime, and a bit more crime, and a bit more crime. And I was quite lucky for quite a number of years, actually. I didn't get caught for my crimes. But I ended up getting involved, involved in organised crime and in drugs and taking drugs. And my life was just revolved around drugs. I just wanted to wake up and, well, I didn't want to wake up. I just wanted to stay awake and just take more drugs all the time. But that wasn't really me. There was more to me behind that, but I didn't really know how to find that person yet. And like every criminal and every drug dealer, you know, I got caught and we all should go to prison. But at the time, I thought to myself, when I was going to prison, I thought, actually, I felt inside this was an opportunity for me to change. This meant an opportunity for me to, you know, to get away from that world and stuff. But the realizations once being in prison, that wasn't going to be the case. For someone to go into prison, you know, like myself, it was very much actually just building more. He could have been building more connections to build up a bigger criminal empire. But I stuck at it. I stuck at being shut behind the door for 23 hours a day because I wasn't allowed a job, because I apparently couldn't see to do a job. So I was still there, just melting down in my cell every day. But I knew, you know, someday that I was going to get out, but I had to do something. I couldn't go back to that life. I couldn't go back to, you know, I was clean in prison. The mist that sort of went away, and I could sort of see what I needed to do in my own life. And but I kept getting trapped behind the door, as I would say, because no one would give me that opportunity. It was only sort of in my last prison, and it was sort of someone stuck the foot out for me, a member of staff, and sort of give me an opportunity and let me sort of let me do stuff in prison. And it was working with an older set of prisoners, people who've been behind the bars for many years, and who were in now a decap prison, and they sort of had 2 years on their sentence and had to get ready for their release. And you notice I had some sort of skills in mentoring people, and this was in a sort of cookery and sort of lifestyle and life skills sort of environment in a decap prison. And he really noticed that him sticking his foot out for me, I really took up the opportunities he was offering, and I thrived. I thrived in helping other prisoners, not just to you know, build how you know, to learn them some basic cookery recipes for when they did get released, but building that you know, that connection and with other people. And I really thrived, and I really found someone actually, for once in a life, give me an opportunity. And I still remember that guy's name today. And I thought, this is it. I can go and do something now. I'm coming out of prison. I do feel reformed of some sort, but I can go and sort of change and do things. The stark reality was that wasn't going to be the case. You know, I was released from prison in 2012-13, homeless, straight on the streets, even though I've been in prison for 4 years, and they knew, you know, when I applied for get housing, this, that, and the other. The reality was I was straight on the streets, and the reality was I was nearly straight back into getting involved in crime. Fortunately for me, a local charity helped me find some accommodation, and they stuck with me, and they recognised I wasn't such a bad person, and they helped me to find different opportunities, which I took with both hands, because I knew I didn't want to go back to that life. It was difficult at the time, you know. I couldn't get access to DWP money, and you know, things were happening outside. I was firstly placed in a shared house where we were all on different journeys, and I was on quite a long license for conspiracy to supply drugs, and there was drugs being taken, and if the doors would have come through, I was being put in risk and going to prison. So I fell out with that sort of housing provider at the time for putting me in sort of that risk, and I ended up back on the streets again. And a local faith organisation picked me up then, and they managed to give me a 1-bedroom flat and a support worker for the first time. I've had loads of support workers in my life, but a support worker for the first time who actually asked me in my life what I like to do, what are my interests. Not, you've got to go to this appointment, you've got to pay your service charge, you've got to go to the rehab today, you've got to go and do a clear drugs test today, but actually asked me what I liked and what my interests were. And that really helped me a lot. And from then on, I sort of tried to get involved in everything what was thrown at me. Some things were good, some things weren't so good, but I really, really tried. Then one day I was invited to a workshop, which I've been to hundreds of workshops over the years, but this workshop was sort of different. This workshop was somewhat different. I met this guy who I'm very close friends with today, and to be fair, I do try and think to myself a lot. I wouldn't be here, and especially in the position I'm in now, if it wasn't for meeting this man. And Paula and some of the guys will know him here. It's a guy called David Ford. I get emotional actually, because meeting David changed my life. He helped me realise all them experiences I've faced in my life and traumas weren't worthless. That actually my lived experience was a knowledge that actually using that knowledge we could change things and make things better for people, and make hopefully people who may not experience the same stuff we did. And I really connected, and you know, I'm still good friends, and I work with David on lots of different other projects. But if it wasn't for meeting him, I don't think I'd be in the position you talked about earlier today. You talked about mixing it with some of the hierarchy and some of the powers that be, maybe, you know, that meeting Dave, if I didn't meet David and David helping me to find my own worth and finding that actually all the negativities that we can look for solutions and change them into positivities, I don't think I'll be speaking here tonight. I honestly don't. In fact, you know, I could be back behind them bars, very much so, how things were going at the time. But I thrived, and we were lucky enough to get involved in a national lottery project called Fulfilling Lives, which was a massive investment by the lottery over 12 areas of the UK. And we managed to get involved in our area in Stoke-on-Trent, and we worked in a different partnership with others, and we were successful in bringing £10 million to Stoke-on-Trent in over 8 years investment. And we formed a little voluntary group called Expert Citizens at the time. We were all from different backgrounds and stuff, but we're all recognised that actually we were experts in our own lives, and very much so, that sometimes that the powers that be or the services who support us wouldn't support us as individuals, but would put us all in one box together and think that would work for us, but it wouldn't. But very much we know what works for us. We know how sometimes what works and what doesn't work. So we formed a little group called Expert Citizens, and over a couple of years we then managed to become a community interest company, where we now employ people with lived experience as researchers, as people who go out to evaluate services to a set of standards which have been designed by people with lived experience. We hold a national conference each year where people with lived experience get to make the decisions what good looks like and what feels like. Very often, you know, we don't have that in today, but recognizing that people with lived experience, you know, their knowledge is equally as important and should be as valued equally as people with academic experience. And that's what we sort of do at Expert Citizens, and lots of other different work as well. And my journey sort of carried on and went from there. And, you know, I ended up, like you mentioned earlier, becoming a trustee of a national charitable foundation called Lancashire Chase Foundation, but found that experience really difficult at the beginning too. And for very much, I've been there for a number of years, but very much trying to sort of change the way they do things, and really trying to get them to you know, the way actually all governance needs changing in the way charities and foundations operate, that people are like ourselves sometimes don't get the opportunities to sit around that table and sort of, you know, decide where the destination is and set them agendas. But very much so, we very much, my passion has been with Lancashire Chase is to change the way they do things, and we're moving in the right direction. And over the next few months and over the next couple of years, you will see a different way of doing governance in the UK, and Lancashire Chase will be leading that way. But they will be leading that with people with lived experience of the social disadvantages they talk about. And that's us here, you know, that's some of us in this room. We are the people who can make the world a better place. And thank you very much for just sharing, you know, and you guys taking the time to listen to a bit of my story tonight. Thank you.
Wow, you have really just like touched me.
That's blown me away. That's blown me away.
Bloody heck.
Absolutely beautiful. And you know what? I love you. I love you. It's like big hug. If you was here, I would give you a big hug right now. And I loved what you said about making a difference on a systems level, not as a token gesture, you know, having a voice around the table, a real voice.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and trust me, when I'm around that table, my voice is quite loud.
You have a voice, yes, you do. Beautiful, that, Darren. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other. And finally, we've like made that connection, and
bringing it all together.
Great, powerful story. Really good speaker, Darren.
Sorry. Sorry.
Go on.
Go on, Emily.
Donathenia said that she remembers meeting Darren when it was the Wi-Fi Bradford and Leeds. You came and did a talk in inspirational.
Donna.
You actually are. I just listened to that. Then I have a son who's autistic and just didn't fit into the mainstream school and ended up being excluded because people don't understand. There's so much ignorance, and you know he has mental health problems. And just listening to your story, then when people you don't fit in. It's so hard, you know, they got told he's quirky, he's this, he's that, it's a bit strange. He's a human being. He's a human being, and this is
a human being with superpowers. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration, and you know, absolutely fantastic. You've got so many people. You've got hold on a minute, what have we got now?
Everyone's behind you, Darren.
Everybody. We've also got Emily Whitehead, who's just saying that, you know, being on here, that she's new to here and that she's, you know, she's really getting a lot from all these people that's taught.
Welcome, Emily.
Well, we're gonna come back to you, Darren, very shortly to talk about the Lex Leadership Lived Experience program. But we've got Baljeet's come back.
Yes,
So
Baljeet in the house.
Baljeet, have you sorted your Wi-Fi out now?
Yeah, it's all sorted. Sorry about that. I'm back with my cuppa.
Well, we are so glad to have you. So we've done all the introductions. We have yet to introduce Baljeet. So
welcome.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, Baljeet.
Well, thank you so much. I just my heart's bursting. I just feel so inspired by Daz, and you know, it's just an honour to be in this space today, and you know, and Darren, you know, and many of the leaders here, and all of you. The reason why, you know, we've all got our cuppas here to sit down and just connect our hearts and minds, and also elevate each other, because we are the answer to the issues that our communities are facing, you know, and to know that everyone's here with such love. So I'm at the moment in London, and I'm a reluctant Londoner because I'm born, bred and buttered in Nottingham, but because of lockdown I've still got to stay here, unfortunately. But so yeah, it's just the lived experience leadership thing. I use my own lived experiences to create change, but at that time I found, and I think this is often quite common for working class communities especially, that when we want to give back and we want the world to be better for our communities, it was really difficult to get into the social sector and the workforces and try to do that. So often we were like volunteers and working in the evenings, you know. So I used to be a forklift truck driver, but during the day I used to be a youth worker trying to give back to the kids that I shared experiences with. But then I went on to become a human rights lawyer and really focusing on kids who are in the care system because of my own lived experiences. But then it was in that space that I realised that often when I started to talk about my lived experiences, my peers and the professionals all of a sudden saw me with a different light. And all of a sudden I became the client, not the professional. So I very quickly realised that I wasn't going to talk about my lived experience often, because I was on par with my peers, and I was fighting the system through the courts for the kids that I was representing. But then I realised very quickly that actually what's going on in our kind of world, we're not valuing all different forms of wisdom, right? My law degree to call the glory. It was my lived experiences that were actually strategizing and building initiatives and projects. And that's exactly the same for the incredible leaders who are here today. You know, like the work that Daz is doing, the work that Pete's doing, the incredible work that Paula's doing, Peter, Emma, yourselves, Emily, and it's so lovely to meet you as well, Lovey. And that's what we're doing. So, and the thing is, I got inspired. I look back to our ancestors for this work, because I started to ask the sector, do we value lived experience as a form of knowledge? Not as a vulnerable identity, but the experiences we gather when we walk through our lives. And I went back to our ancestors because human history like dictates and illuminates the fact that it's people at the hard edge of social injustice who create change, right? And it's that, and we need to ensure that we create space for that. So the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, all the fellas here, I wish the men started that with the women's rights movement. It was women and the suffragettes, right? But also, let's go back to the recovery space. Alcohol's Anonymous, which absolutely revolutionised social care services in humanity and our kind of modern day history, was founded by 5 alcoholics in the Christian church. Right? Refuge, the first domestic violence safe house in the world, was founded by a survivor of domestic violence in the UK. You know, and now we have refugees around the world. We have to be part of the solution. But right now, modern society, we've become the service users, the beneficiaries, we're part of focus groups, £5 Tesco voucher for coming in to share our knowledge. We need to shift this because we're not saying we know more than the professionals, people who've got technical expertise or the academics. There's not one lived experience leader who says they know it all. In fact, many of us are really humble, and we're trying to find all these skills and skill up. What we need some equality with the leaders, and we need all of us coming together. And that's why the lived experience leadership space has been something I've become really passionate about. And that's all I'm going to say, because I have the honour and privilege of being with incredible human beings who have come together to build this lived experience leadership programme for the criminal justice system. And so I'm going to hand over to them.
Wow.
It's getting emotional.
Wow.
Really? It's getting emotional.
That sums it up. That just sums it up perfectly.
And I just love what you said, and I am getting emotional. I loved what you said about many of us are too humble. I totally feel that, because I know that I am as well. You always say, don't you? You speak for me quite a lot, don't you? Because of that. It's not an embarrassment. It's a shyness. It's like I quietly know what I do when no one's watching. You know, I'm not one to scream and shout about it, but I also know the lives that I touch and their testimony. You know, I love that. I'm just moved again. I knew it'd be emotional.
I don't think I've ever seen Emma moved so much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you move to tears. Wow. But you're on a journey, babe, aren't you? You're on an amazing journey. You know, I think listening to Baljeet, what I was realising then is there's
so many out there. There's so many people who make a difference on another level.
Yeah.
You know, they're out with the homeless now. They're out with the broken and the busted, and they're making a difference. And they don't shout about it. They don't. And I know them in droves.
There's a real inequality, though, isn't there, for what we contribute? You know, it's like
there's people that have lived this horror as well. It's people that have been through it, so they can empathise completely. Empathise, and they feel so they want to help other people, so they don't have to be in that journey on their own, and that they know that there's help there. It's amazing.
So all these discussions, all these like little balls of energy have been popping off in different parts of the UK, and finally we've pulled it together and says, right, this is what time it is. We're going to be a force for good, but we're going to do it on a bigger level. And I have to say that lived experience leadership program, boy, that is on another level, and it ticks every single box. And that, you know, just in the networks we've got, there's so many women and men who I'm looking at thinking, this is for you, you know. If there was ever a train or a time that you wanted to be there, it's now. It's catch a hold of this.
Yeah, God's on the move.
Yeah, man, such a powerful thing. So, you know, me and Pete was talking before about the glass ceiling, and I've had this conversation with multiple people to say, you know, I don't understand why. I'm not going to say there isn't people with a lived experience in senior roles, because we've got them here on this meeting, but there's definitely room for more. And also the caveat in that statement is there's people with a lived experience in senior levels but don't want to disclose it because of the stigma that's attached to it, and they're frightened that when they come up for a promotion they'll get cock blocked, and it's just wrong, because you know, until I remember when I was when I started to become enlightened, I put my hand up. There was about 64 of us on this prison wing, and we was talking to the powers that be, and I was saying, look, I'm really apprehensive about when I get released, and Darren articulated it beautifully. You know, I've changed who I am. I can feel it. You know, I'm a different person, but when I get out, I'm faced with a choice. I can either go to prospective employers and figure out who I think they want me to be and pretend to be it to get past go, but I know I can't sustain it. Or I can be who I am and embrace it, you know, and say, look, here's all my past experience, but there's the transferable skills, and that's why you need me on your team. But my fear is if I do that, they'll just bin me, and they'll bin me. And thankfully, you know, I found an organisation that was willing to embrace me as me, and all the quirky idiosyncrasies that I've got. They was, you know, happy to take them on board, because they wasn't focused on assessing the risk. There was more about exploring the reward that you bring. So I think this program is come along at the right time.
And just on that as well, I know that there are a lot of the girls will be watching and the guys, but they'll be thinking, what leadership program? What? So I just think it's a real great opportunity to promote what it is that we're going to do, and everyone needs to catch a hold of it. So who wants to explain that? Paula, do you want to come in and explain what it is?
Yeah, I'm really happy to. And like I'm blown away. I've known Darren for a long time, but I've never really heard that, how he expressed that today. And like, you just have to like look at it and go, whoa, do you know what I mean? Like, whoa, that's a journey, isn't it? And a journey of strength, like, and how other people will see that as like a journey of vulnerability, but actually for me, I just see strength. And I think that in all of my work, so, you know, I've told you right at the beginning, you know, I'm a person who used drugs for 25 years too. And I've been on this stream before, haven't I, Pete, talking about, you know, the wobbles, the emotional roller coaster that is. But in all of it, I always see myself as strong. So I think even in our weakest moments, we've got to realize that we've got strength. And as we move forward, we move to seeing that strength as a leadership strength, how we can lead ourselves out of pain. How do we leave our families out of pain? How do we lead our communities out of pain? How do we lead our country out of pain? And like, think big about this stuff, because like, you know, people saying the negative things that are saying again about us, yeah, we have to refute them. We can't believe that shit about ourselves. You know, you either get it or you don't. You either get you're somebody worth saving or you don't. And once you get that you're somebody worth saving, then that turns into leadership. That turns into a leadership beyond what you do for yourself, what we can actually do globally, internationally. You know, I take heart. Baljeet was very humble when she introduced herself. You know, she's just got an MBE for her work around equality. She's been at Yale, you know, a Yale World Fellow. This is a person from the ends in Nottingham. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to think small about ourselves. I don't want anybody listening to this to think small about themselves, because that's what the community, like, you know, don't internalize those labels of damage. Recognize, like Daz said, that everything that you've been through is of value. Yeah, because once we examine that insight into how we experience like adversity, how we understand clearly about power and privilege and oppression, right? Once we really grasp it, you know, nothing can stop us, because it's like we've taken the pill on the Matrix and we've woken up. Watch the Matrix if you don't know what I'm talking about, yeah. But you can wake up. and like you can really be strong from now on in. And that doesn't, you don't, and not everybody has to be a global leader. You can just be strong in yourself, your kids, strong in your relationships. Everybody plays a part in the movement now, however small. Do you get me? So there's leadership at all levels of life. And I suppose why with Baljeet, with Pete, with Daz, with Pete and Emma, why we've come to launch this first ever leadership program for people with lived experience, criminal convictions, right, is because I know there's leaders in families, there's leaders in teams, there's leaders in communities, there's leaders in regional forums, there's leaders at national level, but we're all leaders, right? We don't want to get caught up in this notion of the leadership that we see that has destroyed love and humanity. We don't want to be thinking about leaders like, you know, autocratic, like tyrant leadership, right? That's been part of the problem of the structures in our society that have caused the pain to communities. We need to build different types of leadership where we recognize that you can be a support worker, you can be a volunteer, but you can be an immense, charismatic, dramatic, life-changing leader. When Daz met David Ford, he wasn't probably the leader he is today, but he was a kind-hearted, insightful leader of change in another. So that's the type of leaders that we're trying to build. So don't start getting in your head like it all has to be like on a national level, like you're all MPs. No, right? That's, some people might flourish in that space too, but we need leaders everywhere. And we all need to believe in our own personal leadership. So that's why we've launched the Claw Social Fellowship Leadership Program. And it's got 3 key levels. Yeah. So first of all, it's a 3-month online program that hasn't got, it's a lot of experiential learning. That what that means, like you're just going to be in spaces talking to people, like webinars, reflective journals, stuff like that. You're not going to be asked to write loads of long essays, hand them in, get marked. We're not on that. That's not how we learn. It's not how I learn. It's how we want to make it as easy as possible to access the leadership tools that the system has had, but we're going to put our own twist on them. In fact, we're going to educate the people who are educating us, and we're already doing that. Yeah, about our strength and our resilience and our wisdom and our power, just by being present. Because we said to Claw, we're going to get there's loads of us about across the whole social justice sector, in the prison sector, in the homelessness sector, in the recovery sector. There are leaders everywhere, but you don't recognize us, you don't see us. We're not in your structures. We're doing our own thing. But our communities know who we are, and we know who each other are. Like I said, I've known Pete and Emma for a long time. So what I'm saying to people is, this Claw Social Fellowship Program has 3 levels. It's got entry level, it's got intermediate level, and it's got senior level. The entry level is for people who are volunteers, the leaders I'm talking about, who are in the cusp of, oh, baby's woken up, cusp of recovery, in recovery, mentoring, support workers. Go for this, get into the groups, meet other people, share your experiences, learn from each other, and get some of the resources that Claw can bring to the program. But mostly connect with each other, because it's the connection with each other that's going to build the collective power, just like we're all connected here on this Zoom today. Look how the power of that is. What we need is connection, heartfelt connection with each other. So we wanted to create a space for people across the countries. So I spoke earlier today to a whole group of Scottish activists, yeah, from the Scottish Recovery Consortium and Scottish prisoners. They're going, yes, we're coming. So let's make space for people. We can be bigger than just in our local areas if we just connect, and digitalized spaces give us the opportunity to do that. But clearly what I'm trying to say is, It's for entry level, intermediate. So if you're a team leader and you're thinking about, yeah, the glass ceiling, how do I get into that strategic management space? Go on it, meet other team leaders, because I can tell you that how we advance in these spaces is our personal networks, our personal connections. The more you have, the more you're likely to be invited in. That's how this old boys network works for them. We should make it work for us. Yeah. So let's connect with heart and minds, you know, around values, around the vision of a different type of community, different type of society where people like, you know, where we're already creating that for ourselves. We are the people under COVID who've gone out and delivered food parcels. I've been on these Zooms, Pete and Emma, and I've seen the amazing array of people that you've brought together who are doing immense things in their communities. They haven't waited for the government to help. The government's gone off and left us. The statutory service is closed. We helped ourselves. Marcus Rashford, as a footballer, has done more about food poverty than the Tory government. He's Marcus Rashford with his lived experience, talking about his hunger as a child. That has caused the community to come together, caused the government to do a U-turn on the food vouchers over the summer holidays. It's Marcus Rashford with his lived experience. It's lived experience that has been phenomenal in change. And we should always be doing that. Anyway, so my point is intermediate leaders, which have gone off on a track now, intermediate leaders, but senior leaders too. So like if you're a senior leader and you want to connect with other senior leaders, this is your space, right? Because when do we, as you know, I suppose, I don't even like the word, but you know, people would say I'm a senior leader, yeah?
Humble.
Who gets free leadership, one-to-one leadership coaching, 100 quid an hour? We might as well take advantage of that. Yeah, because we don't know. Listen, we need to go from senior leaders to international leaders. We all want MBAs. We all want to go to Yale. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's show them that we are here and we're not going anywhere, and we're part of not just now, we're part of tomorrow. We're part of the regeneration of our communities post-COVID, right? Because everything is breaking down. But let's not get frightened. Let's know it's the moment we step into our power and show how visible we are and how much we can build, right? That's what I want us to believe in. And these leadership courses, they bring people together. And the more of them, as we come together, the energy between us, right, makes us really believe we can do it. Yeah. When we're on our own, we just start thinking, oh, it's just us. Like, what are we doing, chipping away at there? But when we get to see there's like so many people across the country chipping away at this shit, I really believe we can do something positive and creative. Yeah,
there is definitely the right timing. There is an uprising in communities. Leaders stand up. You know, if there was ever a time to pull together a national leadership program, it is now. You know, I'm getting, you know, it has really been emotional on here tonight, because it has. And it's like, we always say resources lie in your relationships, open them doors up and create more relationships. And there is something you said there, and I'm always talking about it. There is a strength is found in vulnerability. You know, there is nothing wrong with opening your heart and being vulnerable and real, because that gives people permission to do the same. And that's the real rawness, isn't it? You know, of our lived experience.
Yeah. And I don't want our viewers to get confused with the leadership program that we've got as Red Rose Recovery, because that's specifically designed to achieve some local objectives around everything Paula's just articulated. You know, we've been teaching our people the power of network, the power of relationships, and the idea is to build critical mass.
This is putting it on another level.
I have to say, this leadership program, this, you know, intermediate, senior and entry level leadership's on a different level. And I would just say, you know, we've got 10, 20 people lined up to fill that.
I'm signing
fill
up
that
for it
in,
as well.
aren't we?
I'm signing up
We're
for
both
it, yeah.
we're both signing up for it.
Because you never know everything. The day you think you know everything, you're done. You're done, guys. You're done.
Yeah.
No, Emma, you're so right. It always has to be about growth.
Growth.
Like yes, there's individual responsibility to develop yourself, isn't it? Like we all know that we have to make the commitment ourselves too, right? We can't like just dwell in like learned helplessness and go like somebody else is going to deliver the best life for us and our kids and our communities. Like we can take that responsibility on, because when we don't and we devolve it to somebody else, we lose the control over how it looks and how it feels. So like individual growth and the individual capacity to learn, right? We must take that on, right, as part of recovery.
We owe it to ourselves.
We owe it to ourselves. You're right, Emma.
Let's just bring Emily in for comments, because I know that there's been some comments.
Lorna Simpson, Paula has a lovely, kind face and a great spirit. You do. That's so lovely, Lorna. And I just want to say that Andy Pitt on here, he seems to be struggling, but everyone's connecting with him and everyone's giving him support on here, and that's brilliant. Andy, just keep, get involved with these people and, get on the groups, get on the Zoom meetings. But he's got a lot of love. There's so many people. Leanne Roberts, shout out to all on here, especially Neil, fellow FY4U group member, Denise Holland, Denise Ratcliffe, absolutely brilliant. Well said. Let's all support each other. We all have strength to do this. Leanne Roberts, empowerment and evolve. Shout out to Paula, absolutely amazing. You so much love, and like I say, people that are struggling on here, they just reach out and we can all help out and we can all help each other. It's a bit like a comfort blanket, just looking out for each other. But yeah, there's so much love on here.
Okay, so we've got our viewers who are watching. What we're going to do is share the link with you. We're going to give you the deadline for when the program, when you've got to actually enter onto the program. I'm going to tell you a bit more information about it and answer your questions. So if you've got any questions, put them on the Facebook feed. But while we do that, Glen Island is gonna, every week we have a competition, and we say, for liking and sharing last week, we'll put you into a Wheel of Fortune and we'll spin it, and we'll post a 20 quid voucher out to you. So Glen's been on that. But Glen, we've had a few conversations, haven't we, about the glass ceiling and how there's a program which just fits you to the T.
Yeah, we have. I was listening before when you was talking about the glass ceiling, and obviously I've been through the criminal justice system quite a lot, in and out of prison and things like that. I couldn't even get to the glass ceiling because every time I went to a job, I was knocked back straight away. So to be able to actually be in a position where people didn't judge me and give me that opportunity to be able to progress, then yeah, I totally agree. We have had many conversations about it, and it takes bravery and courage to be able to put people through that have been through the criminal justice system and give them opportunities like that. So yeah.
Are you going to spin the wheel for us, Glen?
I am, yeah. As Pete said, every week we do a £20 voucher. I'm not a game show host, but I've come on to do it tonight.
You turned into one.
Bear with me. So this is from last week for the likes and shares. So if you do it again from, you've got up until next Saturday. Next week, I'll be on hosting it with a colleague of mine, and we'll spin it again. So I would encourage you to like and share.
I just pasted the comments in there.
Brilliant.
Is that all visible, guys? Yeah. There we go. So I'll spin the wheel. So whoever wins is getting a £20 voucher.
And that's for just hitting the like and share button, right?
Michael Weirden.
Yes, Mikey.
£20 voucher will be on its way to you.
Brilliant. So Michael Weirden, that's a £20 voucher if you're watching tonight. Just let us know you've had that. While Mike was while Glenn was doing that, I was posting a link in the comments. I'm getting very technical on this now. When's the deadline for people to apply to that, Peter or Paula? Or, you know?
Peter, let's I can see you itching to get in there, Pete.
Oh, I'm not normally this quiet. I've been so polite throughout this session. So the deadline is the 9th of November, but please don't leave it until the last minute, because typically something's going to happen. You lose your internet, the site goes down, something will happen. So try and get it in a few days beforehand, just to give yourselves the best chance. And the best tip that I can give around this is you can download at the very bottom of the page, you'll see where the questions are. So if you prepare your response separately before you put them into the document on the website, there's less chance of it going wrong for you. So you can just copy and paste your responses in there. But also there's a Q&A session on the 26th. So if anyone's got any specific questions about how to apply it, if anyone's having any problems with it, or if any of the questions are unclear, anything like that, come to, sign up for the webinar and the Q&A session, and we'll make sure that we stick around and talk people through it, anyone that's got any issues. So
if there is anyone out there interested in finding out more, just put your names in the boxes and then we can get in touch with you. And Lorna, I'm gonna help you with the application anyway, because we can always help people with the applications if they need help.
Yeah, so if you're interested on that and technology maybe at this point in time, because I know some of our guys are struggling with it, then put your name in the comments section and we'll start to pick it up. I think the other thing is to say, if you want us to pull together the link for the webinar, it's a webinar in it. It's a webinar where you'll find out more information about the program. If you're interested and want to come on that webinar, again, just put your name in the comments. Emily will pull it all together and we'll make sure you're included in that webinar.
Because that's next week. Which
is next week. The other thing to say is, if you're unsure, just go into the first, so on Facebook, go into the description of this and you'll see a few links. One's to the survey, it's just a questionnaire, but the other one's to our website, and all the information to get on this Lived Experience Leadership program is on that website. There's even an internal membership program where you can fill it in and we'll support you through that process. But our leadership, our local leadership team, we're going to be really on them, man marking them to say, get on this opportunity. We're taking advantage of it. And I think, that there can't be enough said for rubbing shoulders with other people, because that's where the energy starts to really make a difference. But I think the other thing that struck me was, once we start to believe something and we get it in our head, there's no stopping us. It's happening then, isn't it? And I love that idea about rebuilding the world when COVID finishes, getting out there and being the difference. And in order to do that, we've got to mobilize our leadership, haven't we? Mobilize, and this program will help us to organize. And there's no space for I'm just going to give you this one. I love this analogy. It was given to me by a close friend, used to mentor me, and he was saying his wife's view of the recovery community was that it was a bit like the Spanish Civil War, in which General Franco was this dictator, and there was lots of little groups who was being oppressed, social reformist activists, you know, and they all got together and said, we'll overthrow General Franco. You know, there's more of us, we're better organised, we've got the power. And, you know, had they stayed with that one single-minded vision, they would have overthrown General Franco. But they started bickering around their differences and saying, well, we wear our armbands on our right arm, you wear it on your left arm, why is that? You know, and before long they lost sight of the common objective to overthrow General Franco, and they started to focus on what was different, what was a little bit different about how other people were doing their life. And General Franco just sent in some Moroccan assassins to wipe them out. And in this space, there's no room for any of that. You know, there's a single objective. It's to smash the glass ceiling and create opportunities for us to be the difference, to say we're not going to hide in darkened church halls. We're not going to suffer stigma. We're going to rise up and be counted because we know what time it is. We know we can make a difference. And there's so many of us who are, you know, letting off little flashes of energy and light all around the country. Now is the time to catch a hold of, you know, one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys to just share a little bit about CLAW leadership, CLAW social leadership. If someone could just tell our viewers what CLAW is, that would be great.
So I'll share a little bit because so I built a partnership with them because I was selected as a CLAW Social Fellow years ago. And at that time, and even only until about a couple of years ago, it is the UK's kind of most well-known leadership development provider for the whole social sector. So that's across the piece. So it's also government officials, from social entrepreneurs, funders to, but most of the people were middle-class folk from London. And it was usually senior leaders from the mainstream, not the margins. And so it's that relationship I've had with them. I've been really disrupting this of, you want to put people in the lead, you need to start also drafting and opening the doors to new leadership programs. This has been a challenge for them because they're just like, are you sure there's leaders out there from communities? So we tried something out during the summer for a whole heap of amazing migrant and refugee-led leaders, and they smashed it out the park. But this one we weren't going to get funded for, and it does cost money, and we decided to commission it because we know you're there, right? And so we came and brought some lived experience leaders together, and I just have to say thank you so much for all of you coming together to design this. And the caliber of the leaders in this space right now, you know, Paula, Darren, Pete, Emma, Peter, it was really that blew CLAW Social away. So CLAW Social leadership have just gone, we will share our knowledge and our leadership tools with these leaders. But we said we want one request, and the request is it's only for leaders who've had criminal convictions, right? No keeping people out. Only people with criminal convictions are allowed on this program. So I'm afraid if you haven't, you're not coming in. So this program is only for.
I have to say, I said that in the organisation a few years ago. In fact, if you haven't, you can't come in.
Yeah. And also we have prioritised, because of what's happening in the current climate as well, is a recognition that we're prioritising leaders outside of London, right? There are amazing activists in our communities in London, but there's so many opportunities in London. So we are prioritising our leaders outside of London, and we've made that clear. We're also prioritising women, because often it can be male leadership that gets up. So we want to prioritise, and also people of colour. There are amazing. I mean, right now with the Black Lives Matter movement, even our young'uns, white, black, Asian, are looking at America and the incarceration system over there. We need to look at what's happening here on our islands, right? Yeah. And we have black leaders here as well doing incredible work who are hitting another glass ceiling as well. So this is a unifying. I mean, when we go into our working class communities, we're fighting the criminal, we're trying to fight for rights and against injustice. And so it's really, we're trying to really prioritise those leaders. So we're a partnership with them. It's new for Claw Social. They usually only provide leadership programmes to, the usual suspects. And we're coming in as the unusual suspects. I know they better get ready.
Calling all weirdos and misfits. Get signed up.
We had, and it's like we touched jokingly before about sometimes how deep some of the unconscious bias has been inserted into us from all those labels that have been put on us, and we've got a team leader who's just come on as a team leader. As he entered the organisation, he was saying to me, a job had come up, and I said apply for it, and he was saying, but I've got like, I'm a MAPA 1 offender, which means I'm high up on the tiering of the offences. And I said, well, great, that puts you ahead of everybody else, doesn't it? It qualifies you. And he looked at me to say, are you taking the piss? And I was genuinely serious, because after the conversation, he started to understand the concepts. You understand the mindset better than anybody else. And I would tell stories about when someone comes into one of our live meetings and we find out he's a MAPA offender or he's on the Revolution Squad, we'll give him the cash tin and say, I might mind that. And they'll look at us and go, for real? And we'll say, of course, yeah, no one's going to steal it off you, are they? And what we're really doing is giving them an opportunity to raise the bar and change the narrative. If you do nick it, then it's water off a duck's back for us. But I think it'll weigh heavy on your soul, because you've just robbed the very people who was going to love you. What sometimes they don't know is, Glenn's at the other end of the room watching them, just to say, if you get near the door, put a flea in your ear.
Or a boot up your ass.
But if you are serious about changing the narrative and you want an experience in order to point to say, I'm different, then we'll create a space that enables you to do it. I've been like watching some of these Radio 1 live in the booth, with Caleb. Because he's at that age now where he loves the raps, and secretly I like a bit of it myself. And I was thinking, tonight, if I had one of them, pow, pow.
I'd have been going off. Yeah,
it'd have been going off.
It'd have been popping
all night. You wouldn't have got a word in.
Fire in the booth.
Fire.
If we had a button, it would have been popping all night, wouldn't it?
Fire and tears in the booth.
Blood, sweat and tears have gone into bringing where we are right now to the fore, hasn't it? It's literally popping off all over the country. So
Glenn, as the winner said he wants to roll it forward, as the winner
we've so for anybody that doesn't know, Mike Whedon is our managing director.
Did Mike win it?
Yeah, and I've been sat there thinking, and I've been speaking to a colleague, and I thought, it don't sit right with me that. So I'm going to stick me that. It don't sit right with me that. So I'm going to stick my head above it. So I'm going to spin it again. Mike, you have still won it, but we're going to give another prize out. So there we go.
So spin it away, man.
Drum roll, please. And it's off. Lord, Lindsay Jackson, she's been waiting. Lindsay Jackson, and well done on your 2 years, girl. Yes. She has been waiting for this moment for 28 weeks.
Lindsay, and what a beautiful night. Lindsay's with her kids tonight, so what a great...
she's not. No, she's not. Sunday she's got them. It's Sunday, it's changed, because I spoke to her last night on lockdown last, but I was just about to say that, Emma. Lindsay Jackson, honestly, all these people, when I get out of lockdown, there's going to be so much hugging and love going on. I can't wait. I've not met any of these people in person, apart from yourselves, Emma and Peter, which was years ago. But Lindsay, well done, 2 years sober. Absolute.
Well done, girl.
Well done. And Emma's right, she's entered every single week, and she's been saying every week, I'm going to win it, and she hasn't done. So there you go, Lindsay. Congratulations.
Great win in the post.
Definitely meant to win it tonight.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Mike. You're getting one as well. Don't worry.
It is Saturday night, and I do know you've got to get off to eat your teas.
Yeah.
But I did say I just wanted to like drill a little bit deeper. Pete Atherton, when you had your job in probation, it was secure, wasn't it? You know, it's like a job for life. That must have been a risky decision to go and build another organisation. I had a similar opportunity, but what I had was someone who could help me do it, who understood the path I had to navigate. Did you have the same?
Oh, everyone was telling me not to do it. Everyone was saying to me, like, you know, well, for a start, the bit of funding that we had for the probation came from the local council. So what they'd said was that if we stepped away from probation, we'd lose that funding. So there was like a real threat about kind of stepping out of it. So it wasn't just like on like, you know, the risks that I might take stepping out of a job where I know I've got a salary, but it's like there was no guarantees of walking into anything. But you know what? It just felt like I had to. I just didn't fit into that space. I was too disruptive, you know, and my views and opinions were too strong. And I kind of, the culture that existed in a probation office and working alongside the police, and then you put me in there, you know, I had my own shit that I was taking into that kind of space as well. But as equally, they was as uncomfortable about me being there too. But, you know, they tried to control and shape what I was understanding about was important for me and my passions and kind of what I wanted to be involved in. And I've just never been that kind of person that is very, you know, that conforms very easily. So even without any guarantees, I persuaded Matt, who was my partner in crime at the time, and he wanted to stay in. And I'm like, Matt, we've just got to do this. We've just got to do this. And he's like, but, and kind of coming up with all these really reasonable and sensible questions that I had no answer to. And it was just like the force of passion and energy into it that, no, but this is what we need to do. And people need us to do this as well. You know, it's been so hard for us. We've got to do something about making it easier for other people to step away from all this stuff we've been involved into. And it was just for strength of will and being stubborn and dogged and wanting to prove people wrong, you know, and just taking kind of energy from so many different sources and the fear of failing, you know, and just letting that kind of drive me. And, you know, there was so many times over the past 7 years that I've set up community-led initiatives where I felt alone and felt isolated, you know, and I'm trying to kind of forge a kind of way for myself and kind of improve my kind of my life experience with my family, my kids and stuff, but also do important stuff for the communities that we're in. And just so often just feeling alone within that and second best and all the labeling stuff that Darren was talking about, that from a kid you've been told you're a bad and you're a pain in the ass and you're a shit and you're this and you're that and all the labels you accumulate over the years. And I was just determined to kind of break through that. And, you know, I've learned so much. I've invested so much into my own growth and my own development, you know, and I felt I've needed to do that to give credibility to my organisation and to make the organisation more successful. But being connected in with other people has been such an inspiring kind of thing for me, just to feel, as Paula was describing so well, being connected in with others that see shit the same way. It was just such a relief, you know, when you draw strength from other people as well, and your purpose is kind of, you know, it's kind of escalating, you get momentum and you're kind of bouncing off that kind of creative energy and stuff as well. And I think, you know, I'd never anticipated kind of stepping out of that job at probation where my life where it would go and what I'd be involved in. And I'm so blessed, but that's because I've worked hard at it too, you know, and I've lived constantly outside of my comfort zone. It's never been kind of just about putting the slippers on and that, and, you know, it's about kind of that continual stretching process. And I feel like if I'm not being stretched, I get bored. That's where I get a bit of mischief. And like me being mischievous is not healthy. So what's it called? I keep myself in that sort of space. And, you know, that desire to learn and to be the best that I can be has taken me on a fantastic kind of journey. But now seeing how much strength there is in a collective and shaping this thing, this program, and this is for us. You lot stay out of it. This is for us. And just, you know, seeing the potential that exists within the people that we're working with and the people that we know. And this is about equipping others so that it's easy for you to thrive as well. It's easy for you to shine. It's easy for you to come together. So I'm just so excited to be a part of this program and just to kind of be bouncing off these amazing people that you've seen tonight. But, you know, what's the exciting thing for me is like this. We're going to have a 3-month learning experience together on this program, but it's the years that come after that I get really excited about. It's the way that we're going to be kind of connected in, you know, through this program, and what we do after that when we're feeding off each other and pushing each other and our collective voice. So please, if you've not seen the link, get signed up. Any problems with the application form, see Peter, see Emma, give me a call. I don't care. You just need to get registered.
Yes, Pete. Yeah.
Nice one. Brilliant.
Can I just say that my mum's on here?
Hi, Mummy.
She's just commented. My mum's had to put up with all my shit. God bless her. She needs a trophy, but she's just got good meetings. So Mama Bear, yeah.
Oh, welcome, Mammy Bear. Welcome, Mammy Bear. Wow.
Denise Ratcliffe has put recovery helps achieve resilience, education, confidence, openness, vitality, empowerment, relationships. Why is your life back on track? Yes, Denise, that's a lot of information there.
Brilliant. And Baljeet, I can't get the picture out of my head of you driving a forklift and then, you know, going over into the bar and then over to Yale. It's like, what an amazing journey. I'm just so glad we've all met tonight. I'm so glad we've all connected visually. You know, emails like go in the inbox and the outbox, oh, I'm terrible. But I'm just so glad because it stirred my soul. It stirred my soul, and we know which leaders we're going to be putting forward, don't we? And my name's going on that list as well. And that's the thing that really gets us excited. Yeah, knowing that we're gonna play a key role in bringing your knowledge, your connections, your expertise to our network, because that's really what it's about, introducing the opportunities that our guys are going to get when they start rubbing shoulders with you and the others on this program. And there's also legacy in there as well, because we're helping to create something that wasn't there for us. We had to fumble our way through. Knowing you're a leader inside and having no framework to go, I bounced around, and I'm a passionate systems disruptor. Ask anyone I work with. But not having that guiding for, not having that hands-on guidance is what feels always been missing. Always. The framework to go off, like there's 3 stages, you can get there, but if you start there, because that's what I kind of like to create in my team, the simplicity of it all, because you are a leader, you have got potential, this is where we're going to start. And there's a path where it's like, ka-ching. Brilliant. Beautiful. And Paula, as ever, I know you've been described as the matriarch. You're not allowed. Own it, sister. Own it. Yeah.
Can I just take the credit for that? It's like I knew as I was saying it, that should be cringing inside, but it's just so true.
Yeah. Yeah, we love you, Paula. And not all matriarchs are grannies, Paula. Some of them are actually young and vibrant.
Listen, I'm all right with that, yeah. I'm okay with that. But the key thing is, like, let's all look behind us to see who we can bring forward. Let's always, like, keep our eye on building our people. Yeah. Like, so, to be quite honest, like my work now, like my mission, my sole purpose, like where my heart is actually like creating a different type of life for my grandkids. So you see my grandkids, they're probably like walked in the background while I've been on the Zoom, but we want a different type of life for them, don't we? We want a different type of life for ourselves. So yeah, the leadership program's great. Yeah, it's great because it's like we've all been saying, it's the way we all come together, and together we're stronger. Yeah,
we are.
And we've got to believe that we've got the power to do this stuff. I really want to. So my legacy as the matriarch, is look behind you, make sure you bring somebody through.
Absolutely.
Make sure when you're invited to speak, you invite somebody to come in and shadow with you. Make sure we reach out to the people behind us and pull them up with us. Do you know what I mean? Because one day we're going to retire. We're not going to be, and we have to make sure that somebody has come off the subs bench and is playing in the team. Do you get me? So like, this is how we have to look at it now. Like, who are we bringing forward? That's how you test your character and your strength and your leadership. It's not about how far you can go, but how far you can reach back and bring people with you. So I think that's also something really important to think about in this space. Yeah, we can advance ourselves, but actually the test of our legacy won't be how far we've advanced ourselves, it's how we've advanced the people behind us. So,
and if no one's following, you're going for a walk on your own.
We have a saying, don't we?
How can you be a general? How can you be a general without an army?
Absolutely, sister. Absolutely. Where are your people at?
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're just a fake general, aren't you? Just wearing the uniform.
Generals.
Yeah, don't be a fake general. Be a spiritual general with people behind you. And that's how we're going to change the world. With that sort of like generosity of spirit, generosity of heart, like non-judgment and love for one another. I think that's the type of leadership we're looking for.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to show Claw Social, what type of leaders we are.
And listen,
show the world, not just Claw Social.
Show the world.
And this isn't about titles. This is about, are you bringing someone with you, or are you just going for a walk, with a title? This is really about who you're bringing with you, isn't it?
And just on that, I just want to say again to my people out there, and I know some of my team is watching now, the deadline for applications is when?
It's the 11th, isn't it?
9th November.
The 19th of November, guys.
9th.
Oh, the 9th of November.
The 9th of November. So get on me. Let's get our heads together. Let's get a list together and let's get on this.
And Darren, you made me missus cry, man.
So did Paula, so everybody did tonight. My spirits moved, and I love it when that happens. There was some comments in saying, no way is Emma crying. Yes, I was, and it's a spirit move, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's, that is just, that's the stuff money can't buy.
And it shows about recovery, like Lindsay Jackson put together is stronger. Yes, Paula, what a fab show tonight. 2 years sober, a win on the wheel, and my kids tomorrow. One happy lady. And it just shows what recovery does. What it does to us, it gives us our families back, our lives back, and our families get us back, get what what we're meant to be. So brilliant.
So Darren, I just want to say, I love your passion, man.
I love you, Darren.
And we are going to be connecting again very soon. I think, Ising's a top guy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful, Darren. Beautiful. Your soul shines through.
Yeah.
Your soul shines through. And that's the stuff that is, that's the invisible, isn't it? But we can make that visible by using our voice. Boom, hearts in the room. Get some emotions flowing, which mine has been tonight, and I'm wide open and I can just feel it, and it just feels so right. Honestly, I love being moved like that because that means it's real. It's real. Beautiful.
Can I ask you a question, Darren? Your yearly event that you have on, is that who can apply to that?
And you guys can, most definitely. I will email you some information over. you know, we have some great speakers. Paula's won awards there. Paula spoke there before. Baljeet speaking there this time around. Yeah, so I'll email you some information over, but you know, we take nominations from everywhere. Any sort of social, you know, what we class as a social disadvantage, that could be any more or less anything.
Right. Well, we want to hear a bit more about that.
Hiya, mate. Hiya, mate. Are you handsome? Oh, beautiful.
So,
Oh, it's just no. I just need to. I had to say that because I also have felt that, Emma.
Oh,
this has actually been like a really emotional time for me, and I just wanted to share that too. That, you know, thank you for having me back on. Thank you for letting us talk about the leadership program, but more generally, just thank you for inviting me, you know, to come here. And every time I come here, I always end up saying things that I didn't mean to say, or just going off on a tangent. So there is something about the energy of connecting with the people in Red Rose Recovery, the people in the Lancashire User Forum, everybody who's like watching. Just know that you're all part of the energy that moves me as well, and you're all part of the energy that keeps me going in difficult times. You're all part of the energy of why I want to create change, why I want to make sure that we're all in it together. Just know that it's, you know, that you give to me as well, and that it's all reciprocal, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like whatever I'm giving, I'm definitely getting back. And thank you very, very genuinely, like really very much for having me here today.
Same here. Yeah, it's been a real privilege to be in this space with everybody this evening, and hear some amazing stuff. And we should all cherish that, and we should all cherish each other. That we're all people who can make this world a better place, and I'm sure of that by coming together and doing what we're doing tonight. Thank you.
I think we need a tune to go now. We need some music from Mel. Mel, get going.
We're saying goodbye for a week, won't we?
I know.
Get on with it.
Neil, not Mel. I need my glass.
Come on, Neil.
We need a tune.
Nice.
I'm on it. I'm right on it. You know what? I love what Pete said before about connection. You know, all this wouldn't be possible without any connection. You know, it's helped me massively to, like, what someone said about showing the vulnerabilities is actually become a strength as well. You know, I've learned that myself actually. But it's through the connection and talking to people, building relationships. So this song, what do we do with connection? We all stick together, especially in recovery. We stick together. So this is a Brian Ferry song. You might know this one. You know, we made a vow, the sacred the man who put us together now. He ought to make us stick together. Come on, let's stick together. You know, we made a vow to leave one another never. You know, you never miss your water until your well run dry. Come on with me and give our love a try. Let's stick together. Come on, let's stick together. You know, united we will stand, every boy, girl, addict and a man. Now if you're stuck for a while, consider our child. How can it be happy without its smaller part? Let's stick together. Come on, let's stick together. You know, we made a vow to leave one another never.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Let's stick together.
Oh, nice one, Neil. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.